guys, Bone Java here with a review of the 2016 WR250R. I have approximately 7,500 miles on this bike. The original owner, I purchased it new December of 2015. This bike replaced my 2015 Honda CRF 250L, which was a good bike. However, this Yamaha is better in every way in my opinion. Like I said, the CRF 250L was a good bike, but some of the things I'm going to be talking about in this review are suspension, weight, and functionality. The WR250R has, I believe, an inch or two more of travel front and rear above the CRF 250L, and it's I believe 40 pounds lighter, and you can definitely feel it. This bike is nimble. It's great on the trails, and it handles any rough terrain that is put in front of you. I remember bottoming out several times in the CRF 250L. However, when I got onto the WR in the same areas, I was able to get full range of motion on the suspension without bottoming out. The bike is a little bit more expensive. I believe I paid $1,500 more for this bike than I did on the CRF 250L. But overall, this is a dirt-oriented enduro, and the CRF 250L was more of a street-oriented bike. So if you're looking for a bike that you can just go anywhere, anytime, you're not worried about speed, you're just worried about functionality, the WR250R is the way to go. This bike is basically bone stock. The only thing that I have that's aftermarket is this Rigid Industries floodlight that you can see on the handlebars that I have there. Other than that, the bike is completely stock. At this 7,500 mile mark, I had the stock front tire, and finished off with the Dunlop D606, which shortly after this review was replaced with a Perelli MT21, and the front tire was replaced with a Maxxis IT Desert. And I know that's not a DOT approved tire. However, it's been raining a lot over here where I'm at, which is Springville, California, and in this wet terrain, both tires have been doing great. Let's go into some of these issues that I've had in this with this motorcycle. It is a great bike, and I still will recommend it to anybody, but I've had some issues that are questionable. The first issue, minor, my mirrors fell off. At about 1,000 miles, probably the first month and a half of riding this bike, from hitting brush, even some wind on windy days riding, would push these mirrors in. I'd constantly have to adjust them and stuff like that. So you can see in the video, I do not currently have any mirrors on. I will look into getting some fold-in mirrors, and that is probably going to be what anyone will have to do when they purchase this bike if they want to do any amount of riding. Second, at about 4,500 miles, I had basically a catastrophic failure with the rear motor seal. I was riding just a normal day. I hadn't been riding hard or anything. I was just riding down the street back to my house, and I pulled up to a stop sign, and I accelerated out of the stop sign. The bike slipped out of underneath me and fell over. I ruined a blinker, the clutch lever, and scraped up some of the plastics. And in inspection of the bike, I realized there was a lot of oil on the ground. I thought, oh crap, I just broke my bike. But looking back from the stop, there was a puddle of oil. There's oil all over my rear tire, all over the fenders. The back of my legs had oil all over it. I rode about maybe 150 to 200 yards with the oil seal busted and spraying all over the back of the motorcycle. So I realized, okay, well, it wasn't from the bike falling, it caused the bike to fall. And in inspecting the bike, There was no external damage. I couldn't see anything except for oil literally pouring out the back of the bike. And when I took it in, because it was still under warranty, and when I took the bike in, they basically said that the seal was improperly seated, and which caused it to do this. It took about 40 days to get the bike taken care of and put the seal on and get the parts replaced. It was at no cost to me. They did an oil change. They did they replaced all the parts that were broken. There was no issues. The only complaint I have with the service of Yamaha was the length of time for that one seal. Literally, we were waiting for the seal to come from Japan or something like that. The only other issue that I've had with this bike was the exhaust. I've taken a couple trips over 180 miles one way, and over here in California we have the Grapevine. I took the bike over the Grapevine on the I-5, and I had a very expensive Kelty backpack with all my supplies in that I needed to go. I actually had a tuxedo for a wedding. I was going to this wedding, and the backpack, the way it was sitting on the back of the bike so I wouldn't have all the weight on my back, I loosened the straps up, and the way it was sitting above the exhaust, and there was like a pocket of hot air circulating right there, and it melted the rear blinker and the bottom of my backpack and one of the rented shoes. So fortunately it was on the inside of the shoe, and when I returned it, no one said anything, which was good. But other than that, I have had no issues with this motorcycle. Top speed as of the day of this review, 87 miles an hour. And I average right around 53 miles per gallon, which is, I would think, very decent for the 90-10 ratio tires, dirt tires. I probably have ridden close to 1,500 miles off of the main roads. This is my daily driver. I enjoy it that much that I drive to work every day, which I work in the mountains, so literally every day I'm hitting windy, curvy roads, and it handles great, and I'm comfortable on it. The seat doesn't bother me too much. I know that has been a complaint with some others, that it has this dirt bike style seat, but that really hasn't been too much of an issue for me. My round trip to work and back is 32 miles, and that's all through the mountain roads, and it's been handling great. I've ridden it in dry, rocky, mud terrain, sandy, snow, ice, you name it, I've ridden it, and it's handled great and everything. I would recommend this bike to anybody. It's a great bike. Yeah, it could be considered an entry-level motorcycle. However, the Honda CRF 250L would be a more appropriate entry-level motorcycle. This WR250R has been an excellent bike, and I will recommend it to anybody. It's a great all-around motorcycle. I have been literally daily driving this bike, which is why I've been able to rack up 7,500 miles in basically 11 months. And in any terrain, this bike has been handling great. So, yeah, thank you for watching this review. And I'll put a couple other reviews on some parts that I have changed since the filming of this video, the handlebars being one of them, and also some of the tires that I have ridden with and how they've handled. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.